Hi.
What is up, dude?
What's happening, guys?
I love the shit show that we have every week right before this.
Dude, I really want to get like another video recording what happens right before this.
Yeah. And
then
then
because I'm not ashamed to share it. I don't care. I was fixing 27 things before I got on 3 minutes before we were supposed to start, and
Right.
9 things went wrong in those 3 minutes.
So I'm so paranoid of screwing this up. I log in an hour early and then it's still screwed up 2 minutes prior.
That's why I just come in 2 minutes prior, because I know I can fix it. I'm just good. I'm like, yeah, whatever. We'll work it out.
Let me so we have a special guest today. And so here's this is a treat for me. I don't really give a shit about everybody else. This isn't about everybody else. So you have 3 badass powerhouses who make an incredible living, experts in their field. One of them, John, did this by dialing and building an external team of 1,400 people and growing, right? One of them has built an internal team of about 100 people off of social media. And then you have my cousin, my friend, a mentor of mine, Blake Martin, who has who's done this basically all networking. Is that pretty much the way you would say that, Blake?
That is correct.
Yeah. Well, can we do it with a personality though?
By handshaking everyone secretly is how I've built this business, one handshake at a time.
I love it.
Yeah. How long you been in the business, D?
2007 is when I started with this firm, and prior to that, I worked with a little mini hedge firm in Kansas City. So we're going on 16 years.
And so how old were you?
I'm 41. So early, mid-20s is when I got into this.
Right. And you don't have a team, correct?
So we have 8 employees. But I don't have like team. You guys typically are talking about agents or advise, people out there. I have one other advisor. It's all been on, everything's been on me. Everything's been solely driven. I am the elephant hunter.
I love that.
Well, now, not in the beginning. In the beginning, I was if you have a heartbeat hunter. It's evolved immensely.
So now you hunt elephants.
So
here's what our podcast is about, Blake. It's just an excuse for me and John to hang out with each other. And so typically it's about, what are we doing in our business, right? This last week.
Uh-huh.
What are we doing with our family in the last week? And taking care of ourselves. John does a better job of taking care of himself than me, so he pushes me. So now I got a trainer again. I'm sore. I'm not running a marathon in when? February? March. Good. Yeah. Not running a marathon in March. And John, you do the cold plunge shit, right?
I do. Yeah, I do a lot of, I just do hard things most people won't do, mostly so I can say I do it and you don't.
Right.
I like cold plunging. It's more of a psychological thing. So if I can do that extremely uncomfortable thing out of the gate, like I do 75 to 100 mile gravel bike races.
No way.
So, in this business, the comfort, I talk about, so in the beginning you have a mattress on the floor, and then you evolve to getting a sheet. And then as time goes on, you have this like 1 billion thread count sheet that somebody else puts on your bed. That's the best bed in the world, and it massages you. So as the comfort increases, because the discomfort in the beginning was so horrendous, you have to find, I think you have to find some things to add in that are just extremely uncomfortable so that you do not remain comfortable. So the cold plunge is awesome. I love that. I'll do that in the morning. That it's a psychological thing. But then the other things, how can we make things more difficult? How can we increase discomfort at the same time the rest of our life is becoming more comfortable? I get so much fulfillment and excitement on that, trying to find that next thing that's uncomfortable, that next thing to challenge yourself. And most of it for me is just psychological. But I love the cold plunge a lot.
Yeah, I've had it for like maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks,
Oh,
like that.
new.
I did it last year. Yeah. So it became kind of more popular, trendy, whatever,
Yeah.
and more recently. And so during the winter, this previous year, I would just get in my hot tub, but I didn't heat it. I just get in when it was cold. And I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
same thing. And then it got to spring and I'm like, well, this is stupid because now it's not cold anymore.
Yep.
So I actually got an actual cold plunge a few weeks ago, but I've been doing it 6 months, something
Cool.
like that.
What's your temperature?
It's 40. I'm down. So I had to start here and I lower it a little at a time. I'm down to 47 right now.
Awesome.
Yeah.
How long? When?
I do 10 minutes. So I go to the gym. I either go to like Orange Theory or like a regular Crunch gym is what's local to us. And then after I work out, I do the sauna for 30 minutes. Yep. And if I go to the gym, I'll do the treadmill for 30 minutes, just a walk uphill. And then I do the cold plunge right after that. I go home and do that.
Gym, sauna, treadmill, cold plunge.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's pretty. I got to be honest with you guys. I don't feel comfortable yet enough to have to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm so busy blowing up everything and building so Blake, I'm building a marketing company. So I have 5 employees. I'm building an entire marketing company. And man, I'm having more fun right now than I have in this industry in years. Because to me, the 2 things that I'm passionate about are building things and helping young men and women turn into grown men and women. So I've been able to do that growth thing, right? The father thing, but I haven't been building anything in a while. It was just built and I probably should have been doing some cold plunges. But now, like, we're working 5 a.m. till 9 o'clock at night every day, getting this new company off the ground. And so there's nothing comfortable about it, but shit, I'm having fun.
From the outside looking in, I would say what I have witnessed is you have a marketing company that happens to be in the business of health insurance.
Yes.
And you're a secondary platform from that, what you've learned. So you got your degree doing that, which has given you the opportunity to realize that actually is what you could do. So you're going to now use it to broaden out, which I thought, because the way in which you've grown your business is the black and white, complete opposite of what I have done. And watching you do that is more of how things are getting done now versus the way I do it. I have more of a old crusty kind of white pages feel to the narrative of how I do and what I do versus yours is more chat GPT. I know that's not what you're doing. I'm using an example.
Sure.
And so when you've always discussed how you do things, I am like, what? At the same rate, you're looking and hearing me going, I don't want to do that. And so it's been cool to watch you build what I view as a marketing business that happens to be in the health insurance arena.
Yeah, monetizes it. Yeah. Monetizes through health insurance.
Fast. I've always had an aversion to the large quantity of people coming in that I would have to screen and figure out, because what I do is extremely intimate and detailed and very specific. So that's always, I just think about, oh my gosh, all these people are going to come in. I got to figure that, and I got to see if they're a good fit or not a good fit, and how are they going to work with us? Are they going to keep us up at night? Do we have good vision? Are we in alignment? Do we sync? And philosophies? But there's plenty of guys in my profession who are doing what you're doing now, and they're exploding. And I've always wondered how their life is and how their team is handling that, and if it's more of a quantity in general, or if there is quality inside of all that.
John, you want that?
Yeah, I mean, my thought, like the question I always have to ask people, and obviously we don't know each other at all. I've heard great things about you from Perry, is like, if you're the main source of all the contracts and you're the shaking the hands and kissing the babies and stuff, how does it, and I'm curious in your business, because I don't know your model at all. Would it be affected if for some reason you can't do that piece?
Would it continue?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Health happens, injury, you know what I mean? Like just something where you couldn't physically shake the hands and
Yeah. So
or
the
do
way
you
I
have
look at it
something?
is, do you have a sales business or do you have an enterprise? Is kind of how I heard that question. Like, if you're the sales guy, do you actually have an enterprise or is it just a sales business? Okay.
Yeah. I like the way you
So
worded it. Yeah.
thanks. I would say I previously was a striving, successful salesman. And due to that question that you asked, I was challenged and reflected and the answer was no, I don't have an enterprise and we're not going to survive. So we've built an enterprise around it with a chief investment officer who has all the certifications and the degrees and knows the clients equally as well as I do. We have what's called a second chair. So a second chair, you think of where you go and there's a paralegal or there's in a medical office, you have the physician's assistant that's taking all the notes. So we have a second chair. Second chair is a couple of things. One, so I can focus on this conversation right now with you guys and really get intimately and not have to take notes and hold on a second, let me pull this up and pull that up. And so when you go to the dentist, you see the dentist, but really the relationships with the front desk and with the hygienist, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And then he comes or she comes around and you're like, okay, you're going to do your thing and walk out. So the objective was that, and now we have implemented it. And so I'd say we're now 5-ish years, John, into having an enterprise, not perfected at all.
Yeah.
But
none of ours is.
That's where we are. Yeah. And so now we have another advisor as well, who is relationship managing all of the clients as well. And we're building a succession of team. We're building a succession of knowledge. We're building a succession of just like a generational wealth situation, John. So your parents can pass on money to you and you to your kids. Or if you're like Perry, it doesn't come from up down at all. It comes from us down. And so I love that question. That question is what had caused my business to grow and explode. And just to piggyback off that, I think most salespeople have it's either one, ego and pride, like nobody else can do this, I'm the only person that can do this, which is ridiculous. Or they just don't know how to do something such as that, but like they're not going to be as successful. If I were to have, anybody else, it's just not going to be as successful. And the complete opposite is true. If you're a good salesperson who has a big vision and you're able to convince, motivate, persuade people to do something that you're offering them, you can do the same thing with people. You can plant that over to people. And so then you're a visionary, you're a CEO, you're running an enterprise, you're motivating and encouraging, and you're able to get that high, like Perry just said, off of helping people. And it doesn't always have to be currency in the bank account. It can be emotions in the bank account. And that also cashes different types of checks as well. And so just pivoting from selling something to people and growing a business and getting off on that, hit that dopamine, that serotonin, you can do that with a business and create an enterprise instead of just a sales person.
I love it. My favorite part about this industry, the more people I get to know, the more I'm like, dude, you can make money in any line, any style, any lead acquisition process, any clientele base, none of it really matters. There's money in all of it. It's just so you're willing to put in the work and adjust when you need to. And if things get hard or you see things different, or like you said, challenge yourself. I had a guy text me last night. This dude I'm trying to help get to the next level. And he said, he sent me a text about how he's having to get uncomfortable. And he's like, I kind of like the discomfort that I'm having. It's a little uncomfortable. You know what I mean? But he goes, I like the challenges. And I set my response to him, and he said something about it going away or being whatever it was. And I was like, well, I hope you get used to it, because you're going to have to continue to challenge yourself, because I get out of my comfort zone every day if I want to keep growing. And I think a lot of people think that piece just goes away, which it can go away. I just don't think you'll keep growing. But it is neat to see people having success in all different styles of really any business. But this one in particular, I really like, because there's so many different ways to make money in this space.
It's not just, John, the different ways you can make money. It's that. So here's what I love about sales. And sales has such a negative connotation to it these days, which is sad. So Perry Allen has said positive things about me to multiple different people. And I always think like, well, I didn't do anything except for answer the phone call, listen to him, and then give him things that were top of mind. That sales is a never-ending personal growth opportunity. What I love about what we do and what we're building and how we're helping people is you get to grow. Like if you go to Barnes and Noble or Amazon, like the number one most sold books, personal growth, personal development. And that is what we do. We work on ourselves, you know, hence the uncomfortableness of growing the business and hence the uncomfortableness of the cold plunge, et cetera. And if you can attach yourself to someone who will never stop growing, what you're going to get is you're going to get overflow, the overflow from them into others. And that is the best part about what we do is if and I love growing, and Perry can give you, and Perry's grown, you know, but that's what I love about it. And from there, you then want to, if you have good integrity, you want to pour into others. And so you see these successful people, it's a mentor-mentee relationship. If you can get in front of and attached to the right person who is always growing themselves, you're going to get that overflow. That overflow is a great opportunity if they're abundant mentality to pull in all the different things that they're learning. So you don't have to pull. It's like a GPS coordinate. Instead of you being the first car out there taking all the pictures of everything, like you don't have to do that. That's the first guy. Well, that sucks. I'm just going to plug it in and go. Yeah. Oh, it's even better now. We have Waze. Okay, so that's even better mentors. Like, okay, you can go this way, but even let's show you a hack. Let's do this hack. And that's what I love about all this when you're doing this and building an enterprise. Yes, there's different ways to do it, but it's the ability to have an immense amount of impact personally and then sharing it and dumping it onto others. That's what I get off on. That's what I love. Yeah. Seeing somebody.
The principles are the same.
Say again?
The principles of the whole thing are the same. Yeah. We all do the same thing.
Yes, exactly. 100%. One, you know, it used to be alcohol or drugs or ladies. That was the dopamine, the serotonin. And as you mature and get better, you're like, you know what? The high is watching someone look in a mirror and not see what you see and then empowering them. That's like when Perry would say, you know, he'd call and be like, I'm in this situation, that situation. What should I do? And not that where he is has anything to do with me, but I'd say, you know what? Let's look at this or let's look at that. Let's evaluate this and let's evaluate that. And the real conversation is like, you know, Perry just like, blah, you know, like, all right, calm down. All right, calm down. And then we would talk. And each time he would call me back, I'm like, I don't understand why you're calling me. Even to today, when a big client will call me who's, you know, older and significantly more successful, and I go, what is it about me that I think it's just that non-judging, pure desire to hear the person and their situation and give them the best information from what you've experienced that can go out and just become a better person. And that sells. Yeah. That's the business we're in, building these enterprises of making people and things better. Love it.
So Blake is one of the few people that I'm like, this guy is so much better of a salesperson than me. And salesperson in the good way. Is that it drives me crazy that when I call Blake, he outplays me, so that when I get off the phone, typically when I'm on the phone with someone, you know, unless we're, you know, exchanging information and it's a business call like ours yesterday, John, but typically I just try to make it where they learn nothing about me and I ask all the questions. And I get on the phone with Blake and I get off the phone and I'm like, that son of a bitch did it again. I learned absolutely nothing about Blake. I am just a tool and he played with me like I was Play-Doh, man.
It's all about the other person.
It is. And with you, you're genuinely the best person at that I've ever met in my entire life.
I sincerely appreciate that. It's interesting to hear you say that. And I always am like, so somebody else, you're talking about, just like I was telling you, when somebody looks in the mirror and you think highly of them, you think you're going to push them. I still see me in the mirror. So I got to make sure that I hear that from other people. So thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. So John, here's how I ended up in the industry, right? Lost the gyms. Yep. I had a friend of mine, been a friend. His son actually works with me now. His wife has worked with me at every business I've ever built, but we've been friends since 1980. And he convinced me that I need to look into going to sales because he's in sales and he makes a good living. He's like, Perry, you know, you can sell anything. So I'm like, all right, well, if I got to go into sales, I need to call Blake. So I called Blake and I'm sitting on my back porch and I'm like, bro, I've never done anything for money in my life and I got to do something for money. And the way I remember it is Blake goes, well, I've been waiting on this call for 15 years, Perry. and explained to me that selling insurance is not sexy, and I have this hang up with myself that everything needs to be sexy. And my workaround on that was I decided it's sexy when I do it, right? I mean, listen, the three of us do anything that's sexy. And he gave me a list of things to work for, or to look for. And then I walked into my buddy Derek's office, and he spelled out that list of everything that they had. And I'm just going over in my head, man, this is check mark Blake, 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 check mark Blake. So that's how I.
So as you know, John, Perry Allen is a bazooka of energy, personality, and a very, very large megaphone of it being spewed out. And so from the get-go, like I used to go to his gyms and do talks, and we would come, and he would, he would have these, there's like 4 people in the room, and he would have these talks as if he was on a stage. And the energy was just off the charts. And so I had been waiting for him. Now he has a unique narrative that is alluring to some and not to others. That's great. That's pretty much the dynamic of a good salesperson. So once you attach that narrative, so I'm like, I got this bazooka now that we can launch, and let's launch him into a profession that it can make an immense amount of impact on people long-term and yourself. And as you know, if you're selling something that, I always joke that the internet, when it comes to insurance, it's like abortion and then insurance, like right underneath. And that exact reaction is what I look for each time, and I love it. I always wonder when that will end. But it's how you are eyes wide open. That was the goal. I'm like, eyes wide open. This will suck, unlike anything that has ever sucked, but it will fulfill you and challenge you because of your personality. And he's so all or nothing, in a ridiculous bell curve aspect of that perspective. Like, it's unbelievable. Yeah. And he just went in. And so he'd reach out to me. What about this? Okay, dude, let's think about this. Let's think about that. Let's think about, okay, see you later. He would come back. Let's think about it. It was so much fun. So excited. So cool to see. He'd hit me up on a big day, a big thing, a big whatever. Celebrate, send him champagne. Yeah. It's been awesome.
I love it. I love it. That's my favorite part of the business is that piece, that part of going like, oh, just a few words help someone go from here to see things different or feel different about themselves or whatever. It's neat. Go ahead, Perry. What were you going to say, dude?
I was going to say, I remember calling him the first time I made a $10,000 check in a week. And I was like,
yeah. What'd you spend it on?
Unreal.
Don't say.
I'll tell you what I spent it on. Out of debt from everything I screwed up at the gyms. That's what I spent it on. Every penny I made for the first year went into that.
Yeah.
So
I think people misunderstand that piece. The reinvestment back in, and the struggle part, which I'm glad you said, Blake, is like I warned people that at the very beginning. And I think the mistake in the recruiting world specifically is everyone only talks about the glory. Like, it's, you know what I mean? So
yes,
I don't want people to have skimmed over what you said, because it's a really important piece of it that you just kind of nonchalantly said. So I'd love for you to talk more about that. Maybe I'm curious, kind of your struggle and your start in the business. If you want to relate the two or bring that into play, I'd love.
I had to get sober. Literally, I'm a 10, 11, 12 years sober. Like, this business, if you wrote me a $1 billion, $100 million check today and said, you're going to go back and do it all over again, like, I'm good, not interested. Yeah. So I came into a city that I didn't know anyone, in a business that you need to know people. Yeah. Do not come from money. Yeah. Come from love, but not money. And with both of those added together, I did not want to be here. Texas is the greatest country in the U.S. So that Texas arrogance was still in me in Wichita, Kansas. It was abnormally difficult, absolutely, positively abnormally difficult. Like, my first few clients were anybody who was near me. So the lady who checked me in at the YMCA, $8.50 an hour, single mom, 2 kids, first client. Second client was the mailman The second client was the lady who took our check each month at the apartment complex. Third client was the mailman. Okay, I work with people now who are worth 100 million, 150 million more. That's not everybody, but just to give you a scope.
Yep.
That ladder to crawl up, get kicked down, crawl up, get kicked down, crawl up, get kicked down. So you have the psychological internal struggle that you're constantly getting this negative narrative of, I don't have a PhD. I didn't go to Harvard. I didn't come from money. My dad's not in this business. All day, every day. I don't know anybody here. I have no experience, like just 24/7, just negative, 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 negative. And then the business of rejection, never ending, ongoing, always rejection. It blows my mind how I got here, because all the time I get people, they're like, oh, okay, so wow, so your dad's in the business, and no, you're from money, no, you bought nope, you did all this. Other competitors, advisors, wealth management guys, they're like, you did all this on your own? I did. Okay, all right. And you can just see it in their eyes. There's some respect, but at the same time, there's some like, you're crazy. Like,
yeah, 100%.
You're crazy. And you do have to be crazy, optimistically crazy, to be in this business. But what I love about it is, just like I was saying earlier with the GPS and the Waze, others do not have to, it doesn't have to suck as bad for them if they will listen to and implement 50% of what I tell them. It's the problem is most people come into this business thinking that they can do it differently, and that what I share with them, it's going to suck. It's going to be awful. Not for me. And then they don't implement what we share, and they try to do things that are different. And then they leave and they're mad at us. That's my favorite part. It's always, that's my absolute favorite part. Not at all favorite. I'm being sarcastic.
I picked up on it because I can relate, bro. Yeah. I understand.
Like I gave you money. I didn't hang out with my family. I gave, oh my gosh, bought you clothes, like everything. And it's my fault. And so the hard part is staying positive. And I tell everybody this, if you can find a mentor who is positive, who will pour into you. I mean, I used to go to guys and say, please show me your tax statement. Please show me your revenue. Like, I need to see that this is going to work out. Like, I don't believe it today. Today, I almost quit 100 times. If I didn't have such an unbelievably amazing wife that was a greater believer in me than I have ever been in myself, it would not have worked out at all. Because, a lot of the spousal units are the ones that pull people out of the business. But you got to have a strong mentor, somebody you can look up to, guys like you, that you can go to, you can call, you can text, you can check, and you can see it will work, it will happen. And just know that if you go W2ing it, you have no control, and there's no destiny that's yours. If you can W2 sales, but work your way to where you're at least in control of your destiny. And the suck is just a never-ending learning path. This sucked, this rejection, this negativity. Let's reflect. Let's learn and grow. This suck, this negativity, this difficulty, this failure. Let's reflect, learn, and grow. And it never ends. And as long as you can remind yourself that I'm going to be better tomorrow because of the people I surround myself with, and I have high integrity and I want to make a difference, and I'm going to, it will happen. You just got to stick with it. But to circle all the way back, horrible beginnings, abnormally negative, and I'm a super optimistic, positive guy. Tough. And I try to tell people that. No, let's retract that. I tell people that. Like, you got to really want and believe in yourself to do this, or any pretty much 100% or very high percentage commission profession.
Yeah, it's true. What do you think about the ones that have like that shiny object syndrome? You know what I mean? They're like, Perry sucks. John's is the best. John sucks. Perry's is the best. That's the best. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, Lord.
I love looking myself up on Reddit. I'm like there's me and porn are the two primary subjects in Reddit right now.
I can't. The Facebook groups, dude. Y'all insurance Facebook groups, I can't handle. Now this one,
Nope.
we're in one technically, and Joe and Tony do a great job with it. You know what I mean? Where it's not like a shit show.
They
But
moderate.
y'all know the ones I'm talking about, dude.
Oh, they're
I can't.
horrible.
I can't, dude. I'm like, oh my.
That's not my world. Like I've maybe gone on Reddit twice in my life because somebody sent me a link.
I don't even know Reddit, so
I don't.
I mean, listen, I only go on there. I just see it because when I Google myself, it's all Reddit. It's all people bad mouthing me on Reddit.
I'm gonna go Google it now. I didn't
it's
know
fun.
this. I'm gonna look it up.
It's a good time.
Yeah, but it's like the people that, you know what I mean? It's my upline didn't give me support. The leads over there blow. You know what I mean? Like that person.
Yeah. So I think everybody has a really unique opportunity to view things negatively and how they're the little person. Perry and I have talked about this a lot. Perry will come to me with some out of this world thing that's gnawing at him. And I'm like, Perry, and he'll go and talk. And I'm like, Perry, why are you giving that energy? Why are you giving that energy? Like we don't have we have very low amounts of energy when we start the day and where we attribute it. And so I take those people, John, and the ones that are open-minded and listen, and I let them tell me and I go, all right, let's reflect. And people usually know if they're going to come in my door, we're going to do this. And so some people don't want to come in the door, but it's typically a mirroring of what they're needing to work on. And if you can get people there, obviously there's a whole world out there that just goes out and just types and says crazy stuff. Yeah. But if you can get people to realize that they're tossing out is actually a wonderful opportunity to reflect and see internally that you actually need to work on that. You actually need to fix that. So we'll have guys in the office that are coming here like, so-and-so firm is awful. I'm like, why do you feel this? Because they this and this. And how does that affect you? It doesn't. Okay. Why are you giving it any attention whatsoever at all? Why are you giving it any energy? Let's take that attention and energy and turn it into something positive and use it to do something better for you or do something better for your family. And just redirecting that energy that, I don't know about hatred, but that it's also a cop out. Like if you can't work on yourself and you can't make something better in your life, then you externally go out and beat the shit out of other people. And it's even weirder now because you can do it without any negative consequence at all. Whereas in the day, like if you went out to the playground and started punching people, you're going to have to fight back. Yeah. You don't have to do that now. You can go punch a whole bunch of people and run off. And so it's quite interesting, but I think it's a cop out that's people who are not wanting to work on themselves and not wanting to become better and not wanting to succeed. And so they go out and point out all this stuff about other people that has nothing to do with it.
There's people are born with and bred into the tribe mentality, right? Because if we go back to caveman days, the people in the other tribe were dangerous. They were going to steal your women, right? And kill you. And then also your ego is remarkably powerful. And if you see someone up here and you're down here, it clearly can't be because they've earned it and you haven't. So your ego has to protect you. And, one thing I always say is, people who aren't able to rise above, the only way they can rise is to stand on other people.
Yeah. A lot of that's in corporate America. I see that with clients a lot. It's quite interesting.
That's one more thing he told me. Cause I told when we started the call, that call in my backyard, I said, I got to get a job. And you go, you can't have a job, Perry. I was like, what do you mean I can't have a job, Blake? I can have a job. He's like, Perry, you will be fired immediately.
Yeah. You're an HR nightmare. So, yeah, big time. What?
Dude, Blake, I love your delivery, dude. He's like got the same mentality, but just so smooth with it. Just a fan.
Yeah, I told you were gonna love him.
I get asked a lot, like, how many meds are you on? And I'm like, look, nothing like you think. Like I have to take focus meds so I can focus because otherwise, I'll be looking at these playing things up here and wondering like, what is that? And why are we having this? Like, that's all I could do.
I might
And
need
how did
those
they make
meds because
that
I was
lion
wondering.
when
I just noticed
made-
those
when
planes
they
for the
made
first
that
time.
lion? How did they do the cut? Like that's my brain is really bad. Yes,
Lord.
the delivery.
So you're
Interesting.
just perfectly messed up enough to do this for a living.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Love
You
it.
got to be,
Love it.
and you got to want to get fixed, and you got to want to continue to get fixed, and it's a never ending. You know, you get to. I remember I tell people this all the time. Like, what do you love about this profession? My favorite thing about this profession is getting to work with brilliant people.
Yeah.
And hearing their stories and how they've become successful. Like I am the financial autobiographer of the just brilliant, amazing human beings. And it's like front row, and I get to hear it and see it.
That's so cool.
And now I get the call, you know, hey, I'm going to go. We had a guy the other day who was going to talk on CNBC, and he called me the day before. And it's like, hey, I have this talk. I'm like, whoa. You know, you're talking about, you wish you had a video of us not getting our shit together before the call.
Yeah.
I'm like, I would have had a video. So I could look back and be like, that's me, you know, sit and watch and be like, that's me. Yeah. That guy called me. That's the stuff that's awesome. But in the beginning, when I look back, it's a profession of never ending evolution. And in this world of negativity and everything making money off taking our energy and our focus away, the ability to continually focus on yourself and make yourself better. And the outcome is success. The outcome is extreme success. That's awesome. That's amazing. I love whatever you're selling, toilets, ideas, consulting, insurance, it doesn't matter. That part is what is awesome to me.
I don't think I would, you know, the guy that called you 5.5 years ago, if I were in a room with him, I don't think I would recognize him. I mean, other than the fact he's still remarkably handsome.
I knew you were going to say that, bro. I love it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, everybody knows.
I was going to say it for you.
You know, John, if there was one thing that Perry is missing, it's probably vanity. Like if he had that, it would be amazing. Got to have a healthy confidence in yourself in this life. Always. Perry Allen taught me how to dance when I was a very small child. Now, some people would say my dancing's not that great. Perry was there many times when I needed to be around. One of my favorite things about him is he used to do these videos. You guys should just have a video session of these Batman videos he used to do.
Yeah, I'll have to find those.
Unbelievable. But his confidence in himself has always allowed for him to be a great leader and be able to lead others. Also, the magnetism. Like I said, it can be off, but the on part is unbelievable. The traction power is unbelievable. Immensely attractive for lots of young people who want to be something and want to be somebody. That part I've enjoyed always. I have no cool toys. I have no cool cars. He has so many cool toys, so many cool cars. I have nothing. I have a really nice pocket square collection, you know, which it's just
it's funny.
Little different.
Blake's so nerdy, but like when he was younger, so the good dancer was not sober Blake. Nowhere near sober Blake was a hell of a
good anything. Yeah, it's quite interesting, the view of me being a Poindexter compared to the old life of just being the guy who threw the parties, ran the parties, got everybody together, had amazingly large good times. And now I just try to do that in a professional setting with high quality people that are doing high quality things without the ball and the leisure suits.
Here we go, guys.
How did you two get connected? How did this begin?
Go ahead, Perry.
We were both.
You're a great storyteller, way better than I. So you tell it.
We were both doing, I'll call it a keynote speech each at this place. And I can't stand speeches. I can't stand watching the people do it. I can't stand what they have to say. It drives me crazy when someone who's quasi-successful gets up and tries to teach people how to be successful. And it, more importantly than anything, it drives me crazy when someone gets up there and regurgitates other people's books and information and then doesn't give them credit for it. So those things are difficult for me. But John got up and I was drawn to every word he said. He was genuine and just a remarkably intelligent and cool guy. He happened to be my daughter's upline, and we ended up sitting outside together talking, and we just kind of, and I don't connect with very many people where I want to spend time with them. I can connect with everybody, but to the place where I really want to spend time with them. And I felt that way with John immediately. And then we could just kind of barely kept up. And then Joe ended up deciding we were going to do a podcast. Joe called me and said, "Hey, Perry, you want to do a podcast every Thursday?" I said, "Nope, go away." And he said, "Well, what if it's with John?" And I said, "Okay, I'm in." And then I'm assuming he had basically the same conversation with you.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, John, before
I had already done one and quit it.
Before?
I was like, I was bored with it. I was just bored. I was like, I mean, there's only so many weeks in a row I can get on and just talk at people. I don't like it. So I was like, dude, I told John, I'm like, I just can't. I need something more challenging. This is not fun. And then when he did the same thing, he was like, "You do it again?" I'm like, "Bro, what?" And he goes, "Perry said if you're in, he's in." I'm like, "Perry, huh?"
Perry.
Oh, we'll have a blast. And then we just help each other with business, and whoever watches. You know, we have a good time. And I think this is our first. I don't even know if we had a guest yet. I think
we had the Wizard once.
Who'd we have?
The Wizard.
Oh, yes, we did. Yeah. You're right. Yes. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
So,
but for me, this podcast, my business has grown like an insane amount. Just from spending time with you, either the tips you give me or just the way that it spins my brain. Like that first night we were having a conversation at the dinner table in Austin, and you were talking about how you used, what was that app you used to use for training?
Yeah, it was Marco Polo at the time.
Marco Polo. And I was like, that's brilliant. Yeah. So I went home and immediately started building a TikTok page for training. I mean, I added 5 videos to it today. And so that's our primary training source now while I'm building this $20,000 training program. So that's what this is about. This is just about me getting the opportunity to spend time with John, and now I get to do it with Blake. And so
for those that are extremely observant, take a look at all of the back of our walls.
I didn't notice that about yours.
How interesting is that?
It's wild.
This has been fun. I've enjoyed it. I don't do anything internet or art marketing or advertising or anything like this. So it's cool that just to hang out with Perry, who I look up to a lot, and hang out with someone who Perry looks up to a lot. So I appreciate it. Is there anything else you want me to drop onto those that watch this and or share prior to?
How about this? Who is your client, and who is your daddy, and what does he do? Who is your client, and what do you do for them?
So we work and specialize with individuals who are 5 years from retirement or 5 years into retirement that own a business and will be selling it within 3 years or sold it within the last 3 years, that are in the high net worth space, meaning they have enough money to retire and they wish to look past that to the next generation so that we can do generational planning. In addition to that, we're also making sure that those that are our clients have a team that can help them navigate taxes, tax planning, income distribution in an efficient methodology, and think beyond their family and think past themselves. Good, wholesome people that want to work with a team that cares, that will know more about their financial situation than anybody else, that's always available and looks forward to helping you. That's who we work with. That's who we love working with. That's who we enjoy working with. I get up every day and look forward to helping people. And those people that took care of their family and wish to take care of the future generations, I love it, and that's who we work with.
Love it, dude.
Told you it was badass.
That flew by. Yeah, we should do something. We need to do it in person. Get dinner. We need to go to dinner somewhere and just
And videotape
hang
it?
out. No,
Oh,
turn this
okay.
shit off. No,
No.
John and I
We just
travel
get together in
all
real
three of us
life.
travel all the time. We just need to find a place and all meet for
Coordinate.
dinner and bring our wives.
Yeah,
I'll be in town for Thanksgiving.
Oh.
We can
Yeah.
wait. Where do you live, John?
I'm
John's
in Atlanta.
Okay,
Yeah.
we'll be in your town.
Yep. No, you won't be. You won't
This
be.
was good. I enjoyed playing on your guys' playground. Thanks for having me and allowing me to jump in and get off the bench, put me in and let me run the bases. I got to get back to work. You guys rock.
Good to meet you,
I do
buddy.
think it's super interesting that all three of our backgrounds have some type of alpha animal.
Yeah,
Pretty cool.
love it, dude. It's good to meet you, man.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate your info.
Love you, cousin. Love you, Perry. Pleasure to meet you,
Love you.
John. Bye, guys.
See you guys.
Bye.